This is the newsroom for today, Tuesday, January 26, 2021. We're broadcasting to you on E1, Scar TV, NTN, and Tarzi TV in Bartica. In the headlines, the families of the fishermen being detained in Venezuela are pleading for their early release.
I'm glad if he can come home because he right now is punishing me.
An East Bank Demerara woman who paid to have her husband killed, along with the hitman, plead guilty to the crime. President Irfan Ali engages small political parties on Budget 2021. Farfan Mendez reaps benefits after partnering with major international company. And in sport, high fitness standards behind Tevin Imlac's drive for success and new Carifta dates will enhance quality of competition, says the AAG head. With the news, I'm Afanash Ramzan. Thanks for joining us. We started by telling you that the wives, some pregnant, and the children, many school-aged, of the Guyanese fishermen detained in Venezuela are growing alarmingly concerned about their welfare, with the latest news out of the neighboring country indicating that the men could remain in detention for another 45 days pending an investigation. Kurt Campbell spoke with the family members on Tuesday and filed this report.
Kamar Lalbachan, the owner of the vessels, the Lady Nayera and the Seawolf, which is detained along with 12 fishermen in Venezuela, said the crew appeared in Venezuelan court on Monday, and although they were not charged with any offense, they were told that they could spend several weeks in detention as authorities in Venezuela was granted 45 days to conduct an investigation. The information was conveyed to family members on Tuesday, who are now further unnerved by the men's needless detention, despite efforts at the diplomatic level to have them released. On Thursday, January 21, the two vessels were intercepted by Venezuelan naval vessel Commander Hugo Chavez while operating off the coast of Winey Point in Guyana's waters. Those detained are Tony Garraway, Errol Gardner, Arlen Roberts, Christopher Shaw, Shervin O'Neill, and Randy Henry from the Sea Wolf crew. Those detained from the Lady Nayera crew are Richard Ramnarain, Ramlakan Kamal, Nick Ragubar, Javin Boston Michael, and Joel Joseph. Speaking with the newsroom on Tuesday, the wife of Arlen Roberts, Tricia, said she heard from him on Tuesday, last informing her that he was at Winey, the same area where the men were detained 2 days later.
Well, yes, he's my husband, so I have to be concerned. A 3-year-old, and I am pregnant right now. I'm supposed to be giving birth anytime, early February or so.
Meanwhile, a crying Sandra Singh is also pleading for the release of her husband, Ramlakan Kamal.
I'm glad for taxi because right now we have things for cook. Yesterday my sister come and buy a cup of flour. I'm sure probably so. Since he got today, I think 13 days now. I mean, I hear nothing from him. Only yesterday we see picture. I'm glad if he can come home because he right now is punishing me.
The newsroom also spoke briefly with Tony Garraway's wife, Anissa, who is also pregnant and suffers from complication relating to asthma. She said apart from the reports in the media, she has no other information on her husband. Anissa said she was concerned about the length of time that the men have been at sea and now detained with limited food and water. Venezuela's foreign minister has assured that the crew members are being treated with utmost respect for their human rights. During a virtual meeting with Guyana's Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation UTAD on Monday, the foreign minister undertook to pursue the early release of the men. There is still no clear indication on when that would be, as Venezuela insists that the men were fishing in waters that Venezuela now claims to be theirs. Guyana maintains that the Venezuelan vessel is illegally maneuvering within Guyana's exclusive economic zone and contiguous zone when it intercepted, boarded, and commandeered the Guyanese fishing vessels. On Monday, TUD dispatched a note of protest to the Venezuelan authorities. TUD summoned the charge d'affaires of the Embassy of Venezuela to transfer the protest note from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Guyana to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Venezuela. The protest note firmly condemned the illegal detention of the captains and crew of the Guyanese registered fishing vessels and called for their immediate release. It is noted that the latest hostility follows closely on the heels of a decree recently issued by President Nicolás Maduro, which purports to establish a new maritime territory of Venezuela called Territory for the Development of the Atlantic Facade, encompassing Guyana's territorial waters, exclusive economic zone, and continental shelf, as well as its land territory west of the Essequibo River. Guyana has emphatically condemned this Venezuelan decree as a flagrant violation of its sovereignty and sovereign rights and the fundamental rules of international law.
Thank you, Kurt. We tell you now that Beverly Prasad, who reportedly paid to have her husband killed, and the man who carried out the heinous act for $1.7 million on Tuesday pleaded guilty to the crime. The 53-year-old woman and her accomplice, 28-year-old Oswald Jr. Yaw, appeared before Justice Navindra Singh at the Georgetown High Court for the commencement of trial, but opted to plead guilty to the capital offense of murder. On Monday, the duo was arraigned in court and had denied that on September 10, 2015, at Herstelling, East Bank, Demerara, they murdered Nathan Pasod. Justice Singh deferred sentencing to February 16, 2021, pending a probation report for the duo. Nathan's bloodied body was discovered lying face down in his house at Lot 66, Herstelling New Housing Scheme, with stab wounds about his body and his head bashed in. Police recovered a hammer, 2 knives, and a piece of rock, all of which had blood stains. Yaw was later arrested at a city location and reportedly confessed to beating the block maker to death with a hammer. He allegedly stated that he was promised $1.7 million by Nathan's wife to kill him. It is alleged that a property dispute between the husband and the wife was the motive for the murder. A mere few months after cementing its relationship with Canadian company, the Crosby Group, Farfan and Mendes says it is already reaping benefits as a result of the partnership. The Crosby Group has over 20 years' experience working with international oil and gas industries. Employees of the local company are being trained right here instead of having to travel overseas, and have also been able to explore and develop their careers. Isnella Patwa reports.
The Crosby Group, based in Newfoundland and Labrador in Canada, in 2017 began exploring Guyana as a potential investment market, and in 2018 they formalized a partnership with local company Farfan and Mendes through a subsidiary company, Pantera Solutions. Pantera Solutions provides offshore oil and gas services such as scaffolding, rope access services, installation, industrial cleaning, crane operations, and specialty maintenance services. Early this year, the two companies announced their shareholder agreement, where Crosby holds 49% shares and Farfan and Mendes holds 51%. Managing Director of Farfan and Mendes, Andrew Mendes, during an interview with the Newsroom on Tuesday, said certification and management are mandatory in order to be a consistent supplier in the oil and gas industry.
And that's not just benefits the oil and gas sector, that benefits everything. So, we're putting in place a lot better health and safety throughout the business, so we can operate more safely, we can take care of our people better. So it actually increases the opportunity for our staff. No longer do they have to leave us to be part of an international company, and no longer do they have to leave us to be part of the oil and gas if they so want.
Mendes is also encouraging other local companies to get on board and jump on opportunities to partner with international companies so that they can expand and be part of the transformation that will come with the oil and gas industry.
So actually it's really benefited us as a company to running the rest of our traditional business in our normal market segments better. It's made us be a better company, provide better services, and Crosby has been instrumental in helping that.
Meanwhile, Crosby's Chief Operating Officer Mark Collett told the Newsroom that the intention is to replicate what the company does in Canada with Farfan and Mendes, with the hope that it will grow bigger. Collett explained why they decided to do business in Guyana.
And as Andrew said, we went on to become, as far as locally owned businesses, we're the largest employer working offshore. And when we saw what was happening in Guyana, it was quite exciting to us because we could see that Guyana was where Newfoundland was 25 years ago in terms of an industry that's quite literally going to change the country in many meaningful ways. And we wanted to be a part of that. We could see that there was a great opportunity to rewrite the story with a local partner. As I say, when
Farfan and Mendes also launched another subsidiary in 2018, Jaguar Oilfield Services, which specializes in the manufacturing of custom wire rope slings and the supply of loose lifting equipment, as well as high-quality pressure and temperature measurement products. Reporting for the Newsroom, I am Isnella Patwo.
Now, police rank stationed at the Camp Street prison in Georgetown have arrested a woman who attempted to smuggle marijuana concealed in toothpaste tubes into the penitentiary. The woman, who was identified as Parvina Kisoon, visited the prison at around 10 hours Tuesday to drop off personal items for a male prisoner currently housed there. While the items were being checked at the self-support area, prison staff discovered the leaves, seeds, and stems suspected to be marijuana. The woman, upon noticing the discovery, attempted to run away, but was chased by police ranks and arrested. She is currently in police custody and is expected to be charged with possession of narcotics for the purpose of trafficking. Newsroom was reliably informed that the items were being smuggled into the prison for one Alex LaCruz. This is also not the first time that a female has been busted attempting to smuggle narcotics into the prison for this prisoner. When the newsroom returns, President Irfaan Ali engages small political parties on Budget 2021, and the public is put on alert for a fraudster who is fleecing Guyanese of millions of dollars. This is the newsroom. President Irfaan Ali talked of political inclusivity as he met with over a dozen representatives from the small parties that make up the political opposition at State House on Tuesday. Among the issues on the agenda was Budget 2021, national unity, and the transformation of Guyana. Kurt Campbell reports.
President Dr. Irfaan Ali on Tuesday held a working lunch at State House, Georgetown, with representatives of the small political parties that make up the political opposition, where they were invited to give their input as the government looks to finalize Budget 2021. The president told the representatives that they will be pleasantly surprised to see that once the ideas put forward are feasibly viable, it would be included in the final document. Budget 2021 is expected to be read in the National Assembly within the coming weeks. Dr. Ali said Tuesday's meeting with the political parties is just the first of a series of such engagements the government intends to hold to get the opposition's input on matters of national importance. He said the greatest project is to unite the country while at the same time ensuring prosperity and economic viability.
Had a great opportunity ahead of us to unite the people of our country. And that is the greatest project we have, and that is uppermost on my mind. We can build a country that is strong, prosperous, economically viable. That takes critical thinking, that takes vision, that takes clarity and vision, that takes action. But coming together and unifying requires a bit more. It requires breaking down selfish barriers, breaking down internal barriers, and transforming our personality.
Dr. Ali was joined by Senior Minister within the Office of the President with responsibility for finance, Dr. Ashley Singh, Minister of Governance and Parliamentary Affairs, Gail Teixeira, Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, UTUD, and other cabinet ministers. The President reminded of his inauguration address, where he noted his intent to engage across the political divide to ensure his plans and programs not only affect the priorities of government but also the priorities of the citizens. Dr. Ali said the aim is to achieve physical, economic, social, political, and societal transformation.
The future really is about, for us, the physical transformation of our country. That's the easy part. See new hotels, new roads, the place becoming cleaner, and so on. That's the physical transformation. The economic transformation is the policies and programs and type of fiscal management and accountability and so on that comes with that. Economic improvement brings about change in livelihood. Then you have the social transformation. That requires people now. Not only healthcare, better healthcare and education, but individual transforming themselves. And then you have the political transformation that deals with constitution, the electoral system, this very engagement. Then we have transformation at the societal level. How do societies transform? Dealing with issues, the softer issues that we forget sometimes. Mental health issues, issues of suicide, drug abuse.
Dr. Singh, in his opening remarks, thanked the representatives for their integral role they played in ensuring that Guyana's democratic traditions were upheld during the protracted elections period in 2020. He welcomed the input in Budget 2021, explaining that it will be the first full budget for the People's Progressive Party civic government following the emergency budget of 2020. Dr. Singh said the budget will outline the government's strong medium-term vision and respond to the most pressing and urgent needs of the country.
We want in Budget 2021 and President Ali's instructions to me and to his cabinet are that we are to use Budget 2021 first of all to situate or to outline a very strong medium-term vision for where we would like the country to be. So the budget is not only going to articulate the interventions that we're going to be putting in place in 2021, but we're going to try as far as possible to outline where we anticipate the country will be, where we would like to take the country.
Some of the opposition parties represented were the Liberty and Justice Party, the New Movement, and a New and United Guyana. These three parties formed a joinder and currently occupy a single seat as part of the parliamentary opposition. The other parties present were Change Guyana, United Republican Party, and the Citizenship Initiative. There was no representative from the main opposition, a Partnership for National Unity and Alliance for Change coalition. While praising the president for the inclusive meeting, Kian Jabour of ANAG said he was upset that the APNU-FC was not represented at the table. Dr. Ali in turn reminded that the coalition was still being mischievous in maintaining that the PPP was not a legitimate government. The president also reminded of his invitation to former President David Granger for a similar lunch with all former presidents, but Mr. Granger had turned down that invitation. The small parties were also briefed on the ongoing Guyana-Venezuela border controversy by Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, UTAD. Kurt Campbell, Newsroom.
The Guyana Police Force is advising the public to be cautious when transacting business online, especially to purchase excavators, ATVs, motorcycles, and spare parts at catch prices. Police headquarters in a statement noted that a 24-year-old who is known for committing fraud of North Rhineville, Georgetown, has established a website with the modus operandi to obtain millions of dollars from unsuspecting victims by falsely pretending that he imports the listed items above. The police did not release the suspect's name or photograph, but noted that an investigation is ongoing. Now, the first dose of the COVID-19 vaccines can be rolled out as early as next month, Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony revealed on Tuesday. The minister explained that it will be a limited amount and will be used to test the country's vaccination process. While Guyana does not know which of the vaccines it will receive, it is being acquired through the COVAX mechanism. COVAX last week announced that it signed an advance purchase agreement with Pfizer for 40 million doses of its vaccines. COVAX also said that it is working with Serum Institute of India to acquire 100 million doses of the AstraZeneca Oxford University-developed vaccine. According to the health minister, COVAX wants countries to submit documents to ensure their readiness to roll out the vaccines. To this end, regional vaccination teams are being trained across the country.
We are working with COVAX, and we have sent them all the documentation that they require. We are now awaiting their response. Initially, they were looking at the second quarter to start rolling out the vaccines to different countries. They have told us that they would like to start earlier, and they have asked countries pertaining to their readiness and asked us to submit some documentation, which we did. So if they're able to roll out earlier, we'll expect that some countries would start receiving vaccines as of next month. This would be a first wave in very limited quantities, perhaps to test the system to see how the logistics and everything is working. And once that is verified, then we'll see larger amounts of vaccines being rolled out in the second quarter and maybe the third quarter. In terms of the types of vaccines that we'll receive from the COVAX facility, that still hasn't been settled, because COVAX is still in negotiation with a number of manufacturers, and they have been talking to about 9 different companies, and it ranges, the vaccine portfolio ranges from the mRNA vaccine from Pfizer and Moderna, vaccines from AstraZeneca, from Johnson & Johnson and Sanofi, and there are many others. Likelihood is that COVAX has recently been negotiating with Pfizer, and they're expected to tie up an arrangement for 40 million doses of Pfizer's vaccine. And once that is successful, I suppose countries would be able to benefit from some of those doses. In addition to that, they have been working with the Serum Institute, and again, they're expecting, I think, in the first instance, 200 million doses from the Serum Institute, and this would be the AstraZeneca vaccine. So this is a work in progress. It's quite dynamic, but they haven't said to any of the countries that these are the set of vaccines that you will be getting, and this is the date when you'll be getting it. So we are still awaiting that.
Still ahead on the newsroom, teachers and students of St. Cuthbert's Mission are among positive COVID-19 cases. This is the newsroom. Police are on the hunt for two bandits who reportedly robbed an 18-year-old student of Valley Wisma, Linden, of a $21,000 cellular phone on Monday. Police headquarters in a statement noted that the students and a friend were sitting at the corner of Fox Hill Foot, that's half-mile Wisma, Linden, at around 22 hours when two men approached and pointed two guns at them. The gunman told the boys not to move and relieved the student of his Android cell phone. Upon seeing this, the friend threw his phone into a neighbor's yard. As a result, one of the gunmen dealt him several lashes with the gun to his back and then escaped on foot. Investigations are ongoing. Now, while the cost of sand and cement has remained fairly stable, the price for steel has skyrocketed due to increasing product and freight costs. This was the general sentiment expressed by stakeholders of the construction sector during a meeting with the Minister of Tourism, Industry and Commerce, Onesh Waldron, and Senior Minister with responsibility for finance under the Office of the President, Dr. Ashni Singh. Danica Paul reports.
The meeting took place at the Artichung Convention Center on Monday. In outlining the purpose for the meeting, Minister Waldron noted that the engagement was to deal with the price increases reported for the cost of some construction materials. She explained that the government wanted to meet with stakeholders to better understand the factors responsible for the rise in the cost of these materials.
We decided to hastily put forward this meeting to hear from you. Before we make any kinds of decisions or determinations, we want to hear from the people who are directly involved.
As part of the emergency budget in 2020, the government announced the removal of VAT on building and construction materials. However, consumers and contractors have been complaining about the steadily increased cost of materials. These increases are also concerned to Dr. Ashni Singh, who warned that it is illegal to charge VAT on zero-rated materials. The minister's caution was based on complaints by some stakeholders that some hardware stores have maintained the price of materials, even though VAT is no longer applicable. He encouraged citizens to report cases where stores continue to charge VAT on zero-rated items.
We have been paying close attention to developments in the market for key construction materials. Not only because the government is a large consumer and a purchaser of construction materials, given the vast construction activity that's happening in the public sector, but also because we recognize that construction is going to be an important driver in the economy going forward.
The Senior Minister of Finance expects that there will be a boom in the construction sector, pivoted by the housing initiative of the President, the construction of several branded hotels, new office spaces, and other buildings by the public sector. Reporting for the newsroom, I am Danica Paul.
And Minister of Health, Dr. Frank Anthony, in his daily COVID-19 update on Tuesday, confirmed that teachers and students from St. Cuthbert's Mission make up an estimated 20 active COVID-19 cases in the Region 4 village, with students being the majority of that number.
You have two teachers that are positive, and you have some adults that are also positive, not relating to the school. And you have a number of students. The exact number I don't have right now, but we have the majority of that 20 is really students. Most of these people are in home isolation because they have tested positive. And the team that is there has been monitoring the students, teachers, and the other villagers who've tested positive.
How has the contact tracing been done?
Well, once you test positive, the team that is there would work with the person to get a list of the contacts that the person that they've been in contact with. And they would contact those persons, try to get them in quarantine, to observe them over the next maybe 5 to 7 days to see whether or not they develop any signs or symptoms.
In early November 2020, St. Cuthbert's Mission, an indigenous village along the Mahaika River, went on a full 2-week lockdown after teachers and healthcare workers returned positive COVID-19 tests. When the newsroom returns, the financial, weather and bridge reports along with sports. Welcome back to Newsroom. Now for a look at what's happening in sport. We're starting off with some cricket news. 24-year-old Tevin Imlach is one of 3 fresh faces in the Guyana Jaguars squad for next month's Regional Super 50 in Antigua. The soft-spoken wicketkeeper batsman said his will and ability to succeed comes from the high emphasis he places on his personal fitness. More in this Akim Green report.
Life has come full circle since Imlach stumped the dangerous Rishba Pant of the bowling of Alzari Joseph, then took a superb rising catch to dismiss Almopret Singh, which set up a successful ICC Under-19 World Cup final against India in 2016. While 4 of his teammates have gone on to play both Tests and One-Day Internationals for West Indies, Imlach is still finding his feet at a regional level. He has played just 2 first-class matches with little success and 5 list-A matches for the West Indies B team at the 2018 Super 50. He found success there and produced a crucial knock of 57 not out in one of the group matches and took 3 catches which helped the B team defeat the Windward Islands Volcanoes. The self-belief that he can succeed at the highest level comes from the fact that his fitness level is above par than most.
Yeah, it's always nice to represent Guyana. This is the first time representing Guyana at the 5th over level. I had some experience about 2 years ago playing with the West Indies B team. But it's always nice knowing that you can represent your country and you could represent your family and the people that support you. Fitness helps you to concentrate and it helps you to train longer and train more efficiently. So yeah, that's the importance of fitness, and we all need it as cricketers in order to push our game farther. It would also help in lengthening our careers as well. So yeah, it's very important.
His key to maintaining high standards is good eating habits and a determined mindset.
Ever since the lockdown started, we've been working with Neil Barry Jr., which is our physio. He's been doing a lot of good work with us on Zoom calls and doing like different stuff to keep us ready. It's pretty simple. You just try to avoid certain foods, like oily food, like fried stuff. Try to avoid those. Drink a lot of water, and you need to put in the work. You need to train. Do a lot of fitness work, and once you get that and you feel confident about yourself, and it's always after that, it's just mind after that. Really just mind, and having that belief that okay, you're good enough to achieve whatever you think. So, like for me, if I'm running the yo-yo, I have a target in my head already. So my plan is to not come out until I get it.
Imlach says he's open to play any role the team needs. His listed success came in the middle order, but judging from the combination of the Guyana Jaguars squad, unless he starts ahead of first choice keeper Anthony Bramble, he might be asked to do opener duties.
I'm not sure if I'll be batting at the top or in the middle, but I definitely know I have the ability to bat anywhere and I can produce at any position. So I'm confident that I will do that and I can bring something to the table to help the team, in whatever way I could. Even if it's keeping, I'll be able to do it to the best of my ability.
Like many other batsmen in the Caribbean, strike rotation has been an issue for him. And the man his teammates call Padlock for his usually solid defense says he's been working on being more innovative to put pressure back on the bowlers.
Just being a bit more innovative, I guess, understanding the field, understanding what the bowlers want to do, and you work against it, you try to put pressure onto them. And we've been doing a lot of work in the nets over the past about 2 months. So yeah, working on dropping the ball short and getting inside the line and throwing the ball and stuff like that. So I've been doing some work. I think I have improved over a couple of months, and yeah, just time will tell, I guess.
For the newsroom, Akim Green.
We tell you now that the Guyana Jaguars opening batsman Trevon Griffith has tested positive for the coronavirus, thereby rendering him unavailable for the upcoming Regional Super 50. The left-hander was named in the 15-man Guyana Jaguars squad, which was released last week, and he also participated in the 3 practice games thereafter. Newsroom Sport was able to confirm that the wicketkeeper batsman Kimal Savory has been drafted in the Jaguars squad. The Guyana Jaguars players will do a second and final test later this week before departing for Antigua on Saturday. Upon arrival in Antigua, the Jaguars will undergo a 2-day room isolation, after which they will do a 3rd test on February 2 and a 4th one on February 6, between which players will be allowed to practice as a group. And the Hope brothers, that's Kyle and Shay, have tested positive for the coronavirus and will miss the upcoming Super 50. They were both named in the Barbados Pride squad. The selectors have since named top-order batsman Zachary McCaskey and wicketkeeper batsman Tevin Walcott as their replacements. The Barbados Pride squad will leave for Antigua on January 31. And Cricket West Indies has announced the return of the regional 50-over cricket to the Caribbean with the fixtures for the rescheduled CG Insurance Super 50 Cup to be played in Antigua in February. More in this report. The health risks related to the COVID-19 pandemic caused major disruptions to all domestic cricket since late March 2020, with no competitive cricket allowed regionally except for an abridged version of the Caribbean Premier League, which took place last August in Trinidad. This year's annual CG Insurance Super 50 Cup will provide a platform for the region's 6 major cricketing rivals to clash in 19 action-packed 50-over matches starting Sunday, February 7, when the Leeward Islands Hurricanes host the Windward Islands Volcanoes. The tournament will come to an exciting climax when the new champions are crowned on Saturday, February 27. The 2019-2020 champions, West Indies emerging players, are unable to defend their 2019 trophy due to COVID-19 constraints. However, several of those players now feature in the squads of the 6 competing franchise teams, one of which will emerge as the CG Insurance Super 50 Cup champions. Each team will play each other on a round-robin basis, with the top 4 teams qualifying for the semi-finals and the opportunity to reach the grand final. Matches will be played at Antigua's 2 international cricket venues, the Coolidge Cricket Ground and the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium. There will be 13 matches at Coolidge, including the semi-finals and final. CWI has been working closely with the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Sport in Antigua and Barbuda to orchestrate logistics and agree the safety and medical protocols for the commencement and duration of the tournament. All players, support staff, match officials and supporting professionals will be tested and must produce negative COVID-19 results before their arrival into Antigua. Players, support staff and match officials will operate within a biosecure bubble and will be tested at regular intervals during the tournament with assistance from the local Ministry of Health and CARPA. The CG Insurance Super 50 Cup is the marquee 50-over event in the West Indies, featuring the 6 long-standing territorial rivals Barbados Pride, Guyana Jaguars, Jamaica Scorpions, Leeward Islands Hurricanes, Trinidad and Tobago Red Force, and the Windward Islands Volcanoes. This is the 2nd edition of the Super 50 Cup, featuring CG Insurance as title sponsors, and the event promises to stage big performances and memorable moments as the teams go in pursuit of winning the coveted CG Insurance Super 50 Cup and being awarded the Sir Clive Lloyd Trophy. Guyana Jaguars, looking for a first title since the KFC Cup success in 2005, will open their campaign against Barbados Pride on February 8. You can see the entire fixture on our website Newsroom.gy. And several notable West Indies limited overs players have been named by their franchise to feature in this year's Regional Super 50 in Antigua from February 7 to 27. Among the big names are West Indies white ball captain Kieran Pollard, Test captain Jason Holder, and the young batting brigade Shea Hope, Nicholas Pooran and Shimron Hetmaya. The spinner Sunil Narain and West Indies limited over spearhead Sheldon Cottrell will also feature in the tournament. Some of the new one-day international players on the tour to Bangladesh are expected to return to the Caribbean after Monday's final ODI to also participate in the regional competition. Barbados Pride squad would come from Jason Holder captain, Joshua Bishop, Shamar Brooks, Jonathan Carter, Ruston Chase, Dominic Drakes, Jonathan Drakes, Justin Greaves, Keon Harding, Shamar Holder, Kyle Hope, Shea Hope, Akeem Jordan, Nicholas Curtin, and Ashley Nurse. Guyana Jaguars would come from Chandapal Hemraj, Trevon Griffith, Christopher Barnwell, Leon Johnson, Shimron Hetmaya, Asad Fuddin, Keon Joseph, Romario Shepard, Kevin Sinclair, Ramal Lewis, Niall Smith, Gudakesh Moti, Anthony Bramble, Akshaya Prasad, and Tevin Imlak. Jamaica Scorpions, Rovman Powell, Derval Green, Aldane Thomas, Ocean Thomas, Brandon King, Paul Palmer, Fabian Allen, Jamie Merchant, Javier Royal, Odin Smith, Sheldon Cottrell, Dennis Bulai, Javel Glenn, Romain Morris, and Andre McCarthy. The Leeward Islands Hurricanes, Devon Thomas, Munson Hodge, Amir Jangu, Ross Powell, Kieran Powell, Casey Carty, Nitish Kumar, Hayden Walsh Jr., Jeremiah Louis, Shino Berridge, Quinton Botswain, Colin Archibald, Nino Henry, Ashmead Ned, and Terence Ward. The Windward Islands Volcanoes, Sunil Ambris, Andre Fletcher, Alec Atenez, Ronald Cato, Kieran Kotoy, Kenneth Demba, Larry Edward, Ryan John, Desron Maloney, Obed McCoy, Preston McSween, Kimani Milius, Emmanuel Stewart, and Kevin Stout. Trinidad and Tobago Red Force, Kieran Pollard, Evan Lewis, Lendell Simmons, Jason Mohammed, Darren Bravo, Nicholas Pooran, Sunil Narain, Dinesh Ramdin, Imran Khan, Akil Hussain, Ravi Rampal, Jaden Seals, Kieran Otley, Anderson Phillip, and Kari Pierre. Still in cricket, after a 3-0 series defeat in the ODIs, the off-spinning all-rounder Rakeem Cornwall says it is important for West Indies to secure a win in the Test series against Bangladesh next month. West Indies lost all 3 ODIs quite comfortably, and it is now down to the Test players who have had an extended preparatory period to switch around the Caribbean side's fortunes. This is what Cornwall had to say after a training session on Tuesday.
Rakeem, how has the preparation been coming along for the series so far?
I think the preparation is coming on good. We have a few practice sessions. The coach is putting in the work with us, and we just have to stay focused and make sure we do the job at hand.
Do you think the extra time spent here in Bangladesh has helped you as a team?
Yeah, it helps. You have to adapt to these conditions. These conditions is difficult to play cricket in, so you have to. The more time you get to understand the condition, is better for us.
And how different are these conditions to those that you come across in the Caribbean?
Well, not much different. You just playing a bit more here. Pitches are a little bit drier than the Caribbean, so you just have to adapt to them and play to the best of your ability.
What are you looking forward to the most about this series?
You just have to get a win. That's first and foremost. Once we can win the series, that is good for West Indies cricket, and we just hope we can play good cricket and for the fans back home.
Thanks, Jumbo.
West Indies and Bangladesh will clash in 2 Test matches starting February 3 and 11. And finally, President of the Athletics Association of Guyana, Aubrey Hudson, strongly believes that the rescheduled Carifta Track and Field Championships in July will lend to a better quality of competition. The athletics head spoke to Newsroom's Akeem Green on Tuesday.
The 2021 Carifta Games will not be staged on the traditional Easter weekend. Instead, the regional Junior Track and Field Championships will take place between July 2nd and 4th in Bermuda. The North American, Central American and Caribbean Athletic Association, NACAC president, Mike Sands explained that the COVID-19 pandemic was a catalyst for the shifting of the Carifta dates. Earlier this month, Hudson told Newsroom Sport the AAG was lobbying for the games to be moved to July and says he is now welcoming the move since it can better prepare given the health situation the world continues to battle.
Yeah, because you'll have more rested athletes, and they're going to go into their season a little later, which basically enhances their performance. I mean, even if you look at last year and earlier this year, the amount of athletes that would have, the amount of records that have been broken for a period that there was not that much competition. So I think is going to be, better for the sport for it to come this late. And it gives us, I mean, as you said, it gives us a lot more time to prepare our athletes for the level of competition we know they're going to meet.
The AAG have scheduled a developmental meet next month, which will help them spot talents for this year's championships.
We have our first developmental meet on the 6th and 7th of February, working with the COVID-19 Task Force and the Ministry of Public Health, where we will have scaled back our calendar tremendously. But we need to start identifying talent. And so we're going to use the 6th and 7th of February to look at, who is knocking on the door to go to the Carifta Games. And we hope that we can have a good number of athletes healthy and ready to go out there and represent our country.
While the team size has consistently grown, Hudson credited the stiff qualifying standards the AG sets as a reason behind the increased medal haul.
We keep setting, tougher and tougher standards for these athletes to qualify to go to these games. I think that policy is what creating more medals, not just the numbers that we set. I know in the past that yes, there are potentially some great athletes who may have been left off the list that were, potential medal grabbers, but I just think that the quality that we send is very, very important, and not just sending, large numbers that would return, give us the medal return. Secondly, the serious athletes and the serious clubs have continued to train, and these athletes are really and truly hungry for competition and are feeling good with themselves, so they're looking for the opportunity to go out there and really and truly compete.
It is understood as of now, no decision has been made to change the usual age group of under 17 and under 20. COVID-19 forced the postponement of the 2020 event, which means some athletes were shifted out of their age group without being able to compete in their final year of that category. For the newsroom, Akin Green.
And with that, we've come to the end of the news for this evening. Of course, you can find updates on these and other stories on our website, Newsroom.gy, our Facebook page, and Instagram. On behalf of the entire news team, my name is Avinash Ramzan. Thanks for watching. Be safe. See you next time.